Welcome to the Sonic Shaman Show, home of the Coffee Connect and Conscious Connections. The show is dedicated to empowering you to perceive, know, be, and express your unique voice in this world without the fear of judgment of others through healing, coaching, and educational services. In each episode, Hank and his guests offer tools, techniques, and inspiration to help you step into your potency. Now, here is your host, Hank Setala.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited. I have Jennifer Bisschop on with me. I just met her through a group that we're both in called the Be on TV Bootcamp, and she has a radio interview coming up next week. And I thought, how much fun would it be to have her come on and give her a chance to tell her story and, get over the fear of any of that. But really, she has an amazing story that just, when I saw your introduction video in the group, it just blew me away because you came from really a spot where you defied all odds that the doctors were telling you and came back to thrive and now are helping people. So just tell everybody a little bit about your story. Like, what was that hard stop in life that made that seem so hopeless that you then pushed through?
I had and thank you, by the way, I had a stroke or a major neurological episode that they don't know what it was caused by or any explanation for it. And I was told I'd never walk or talk properly again, and I would never work. So I was on disability. And when people talk and tell you something and they're an authority in that, it sticks in your mind. So I kept thinking, I'm never going to walk properly. I'm never going to talk properly. Things are going to go back to normal. My dreams and everything are gone. So I spent 5 years in bed. I ended up getting up to almost 350 pounds. And I decided, you know what? I don't like this life anymore. I don't like who I've become. I don't like anything about it. I don't even recognize myself in the mirror anymore. And I decided to make a change. So I started studying nutrition for healing. And that brought me to doing smoothies with everything I could pack into them for my brain, to heal my brain, right? It wasn't so much about my body. I didn't care about the weight at the time. It bothered me, obviously. But for me, my brain was everything. I love to research and I love to read. And everything I wanted to do had something to do with, being able to think clearly and intelligently. So I started thinking, how do I heal myself? And nutrition was the way. And so with doing the smoothies and the research, being on disability, I couldn't afford to keep going. But I came across this ad for this superfood shake, and it blew my mind. It was a fraction of the cost, and it had more in it than I could do, and it had everything. So I went onto this, and it came with a workout program and accountability and the ability to have my own business. And it seemed like a great package all in one, everything I needed to get my mind and body going. So I started on these superfood shakes. I couldn't do the workouts. I did play them 24/7 on my TV as a way of, hey, eventually. And the person doing the workouts was like, you can do this. You've got this. And sooner or later, I would get up to go to the washroom. 30 seconds, I would do it as I crossed the screen, come back 30 seconds, and then drop in my bed, exhausted. That was the beginning, the first 2 years, 30 seconds to 3 minutes at a time, a few times a day for that, and my shakes. And then I changed my entire nutritional habits, and I changed my mindset and decided, hey, I can do this. Like, there are obviously things that you can't get past. There is being paralyzed and things like that. But when it comes to your brain, there's so many things that you can do in other ways to fix yourself, right? And for me, it was mentally, I'm going to do this regardless of what anybody says. And it was that determination. I'm in year 7 of the journey, so it didn't all happen at once. I had to work for it. It was 3 years before I got out of bed fully and went to work, which I was told I'd never do again, right? But it was mindset. Mindset was everything. And I don't like to do anything small. So when I did go back to work, I decided I'd do something I never did before. And I went to a factory to make car parts, 8 hours a day on my feet with chronic pain and chronic headaches, and I could barely walk, and I did it anyways. Mindset is everything.
Now, was there particular tools of mindset, though? Because, we have a saying in AA that people, in order to get sober, you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. It sounds like you had a similar type of energy that you ran into. Like, I don't like how my life is anymore. Something must change. It's almost like a demand to the universe. Something must change. And for me, the pivotal saying the start of the switch in mindset was this mantra: self-pity and gratitude cannot coexist. Every time I find myself in a place of negativity, I would rework it as like this word game to put it into a statement of gratitude. And over a year plus, that mantra really brought me out of it. Was there something specific that you hung your hat on? It sounds like there's a lot of determination, but were you using a tool to start shifting your mindset at all?
I've always been a big fan of personal development books and videos, and I'm a huge fan of Tony Robbins, and I have a whole list of others, and I would play his videos. I would play whatever I could find, anything to get in my head and change the way I thought, even if it was just momentary, because when you're in that mindset, you end up going back. Something will set you back. It's not you start here and you start with your momentum and it just keeps going and there's nothing to hold you back. There's so many things that get in your way. I stumbled, I fell, I did this, I did that, and I would end up back in bed. But it was mainly just saying to myself over and over again, I will not live like this. I have so many dreams that I've waited my entire life to do. And I can't go on like this thinking I'm never going to accomplish them. So it was the personal development that I had done beforehand that kind of kicked into my brain and said, you've got this, you can do this, change the way you're looking and make a difference.
How embarrassing. I forgot to turn my own cell phone off on my own show. No, and you mentioned Tony Robbins, and for people who don't know Tony Robbins, he is one of the big names in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, if I'm remembering the right guy. And one of the concepts in NLP is something called OTC, which is other than consciousness. And you surround yourself by things like you did. You surrounded yourself by all these mindset inspirations and everything. And even if you're not consciously doing something, just by surrounding yourself in that field of that type of possibility, it gets in your other than conscious, and you just start choosing differently, even if it's not conscious. So for people who don't know where to start, flooding yourself, surrounding yourself with everything that can support that positive mindset, you don't necessarily need a tool. It's just like you are saturating yourself with the possibilities.
Absolutely. And one of my big things is when I want to learn something, and I'm big on research. I love research. It's kind of sad. I will sit with piles of books and reports and, everything. And I will learn to my heart's content what I think I need to know about a certain subject. So with personal development, I will go through all my authors. I have a list of favorites. I love them. They all inspire me. And is it okay to move the camera for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I have my wall. It's not done yet. I do have other ones that I have to put up. But as I grow, I put things on my wall to remind me. And this is what I did when I was in bed. I covered my walls in things that motivated me, that made me think differently, that changed exactly how I was thinking so that I would, now I can't get it to stay up again. That changed everything about how I thought about things. So if I was depressed, I would have one on the wall telling me something that would remind me not to be. If I couldn't get up and do, 20 steps one day, I would push for 50 the next day. I never did anything small. The first year on the superfood shakes, I am allowed to say that I am an independent Beachbody coach. That is what I do. I don't do the workouts in terms of my own workouts. I use their tools and I help other people find their way and reach their goals and their dreams with their health and fitness. I go one further with my coaches and with the people I work with because I do have that mindset is the most important. They have that in Beachbody. I just put more into it, more of me into it. But I have these things on my walls that push me to do more. Okay, so today's goal was 30 steps, tomorrow's 50. My first year, I started a garden. Everybody said, do a couple of beds because it was good for me. It's healthy to get outside when you can't move. It's healthy to do these things and push yourself. I don't do anything small. So I did 14 beds my first year and then some. And I hand mixed the soil and I was exhausted and I hand planted and I brought everything in. And I prepped everything and I was exhausted and I could barely move, and it just made everything worse, but I appreciated it, and it actually got me going more. So the next year I added 13 more beds. I don't do anything the easy way. And when I set a goal, it's big. It wasn't, there was a Tai Chi program and they said, you should start with that. It's slow movements and, it might be easier for your body to handle. And I said, no, I'm going for that dance one, that dance workout program, and I'm going to do it eventually. Like I said, in the beginning, I couldn't. 30 seconds at a time. And I would grow from there and go from there. It's a matter of setting your mind to the task of, okay, this is where I'm starting. This is the next step. And then building. And continuously building. If you have a setback, don't let it set you back mentally. Keep going. Push yourself harder. Not to the point where you're hurting yourself. But harder
curious,
regardless.
Like in your case, you had like this huge physical limitation that you got to the point where you just were demanding to the universe. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily reach that much of a low. We'll call it a low. What are your go-to things for getting people who haven't gotten to the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired? How do you motivate people to not have to have that low, to get off the elevator before it gets to the bottom floor to start their climb back up?
A lot of people can't. A lot of people have to hit rock bottom before they realize. I'm very blunt with people. Very, very blunt. I will say things as it is, regardless of how it comes out. Sometimes I do mean it with compassion, although it doesn't always come out that way, because sometimes comments come and it's, poor me and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Well, start by taking a step. Start by having a plan. Start by changing one little thing and then go from there. With weight loss, I have a friend who wanted to lose weight. And I said, okay, I get it. I appreciate that. And I can help you. But I've seen so many things in your life that are going to stop you from reaching that goal. So we have to work on this and this and this at the same time as we're working on that. Or you're not going to lose the weight, or you're going to lose it and then it's going to come back. And first of all, you need to feel confident and happy in the skin you're in. So let's work on the mindset first.
I have a friend who, she has a class, she says you are flawsome, meaning that you have to love everything about you, even when you have the disabilities, like being in the space of thanking your body. You gave me a message to slow down. I'm listening now. Now what is possible now? Instead of focusing on this is wrong about me, it's like, thank you, body. Now what else is possible?
Absolutely. And I mean, I would sit in bed and move this, even though I was in pain. Hey, let's go. If I can move this, at least it's something. And the next step is, your next step. And you just keep going. But you have to love yourself. Before you can start making those changes, you have to be comfortable in your own body, which was a huge issue and a huge hurdle for me.
I think that's an issue for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Like, it's always like, this isn't right about me, and I wish I was this, instead of thanking you for who you are right now. Do you have any, for the people that are like that? Well, one example too, when people want to get healthier, actions speak louder than words. I have this intention over here to be healthy, but it might be that they're going through the McDonald's drive-thru every single morning, and they don't necessarily.
Absolutely. Well, you have to have your, and I'm going to end up quoting all of my favorites. You have to have your heart and your mind congruent with each other. So your mind can be saying, I'm going to do this, and your heart's saying something else. You have to be congruent. So if you're going to say, I'm not going to eat that cookie, don't eat the cookie. And if you do, hey, okay, well, everybody has their moments. You don't have to be perfect. Start fresh, but be true to yourself. Don't say, I'm not going to do this, and then just go ahead and do it all the time. You have to be true to yourself and have some integrity with yourself. So when you're setting goals, you set goals that are reachable, small goals. That friend wants to lose 100 pounds. Well, you don't start saying, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to lose 5 pounds. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to change this part of my nutrition. You start with little steps and build from there so that your mind has time to catch up. So that, okay, hey, I met this goal, and you're training your mind to experience what it's like to be successful in reaching your goals. And the more of these little goals you reach, the more your mind is capable of reaching the bigger goals that you have. Again, it's all mindset, and working on that mindset, not for huge change all at once, but small, tiny changes. If I had said I need to lose 140 pounds when I had gotten out of bed, for 30 seconds, it was self-defeating at the time. I couldn't have done it. But saying, hey, I'm going to get up when I go to the washroom and do 30 seconds. And when I come back, I'm going to do 30 seconds and then I'll drop and do it that way. And then tomorrow I'm going to do 30 seconds and 30 seconds, but I'm going to do it twice. And then the next day, right? You build on everything you do. You teach your mind to feel the success and to want that success and to achieve your goals. And then from there, hey, I'm achieving these goals. I can do this. And if I can do this, then I can do that, right? Does that make sense?
It does. And this can be applied not just for physical things, but for anything that you'd like to change in your
Everything.
life, whether it's your body things or your spirituality or anything like that. And out of curiosity, the spirituality component, when or did that ever enter into the equation for how you're working yourself? I know from our conversation yesterday, I know that there's a big element of that there, but I'm curious, like, when did the spiritual component start to become evident to you for what was going on in your life and everything else?
I've always been spiritual. I know there is a higher power. I know that what you put out in the universe comes back to you. I had a small brush with, we'll call it a wake-up call. I had some bad things happen to me. Normally I'm an open book, and that's fine. I was a victim of domestic violence, and I had a really bad experience, and I got up from that, and within it was amazing, the difference in my mind. I was here for a reason, and I knew it at that point. And it's taken me a few years, but I've built on that. I know I'm here for a reason. I know I'm here to help people. And I'm just kind of discovering how to pinpoint where I need to be to help people, where it makes the most sense, what my purpose is. So it's been growing. But even with that, you have setbacks as well. Like having the stroke or this neurological thing happen to me and wondering why. What did I do to deserve this? Right. That kind of stuff comes to mind. What did I do to deserve this incident or this incident? And you start fighting with yourself internally. And again, heart and mind are not congruent, and it causes issues. And I was a big, I was self-sabotaging due to my own limiting beliefs, which again, spirituality comes into it as well. If your heart and mind aren't congruent, if you've got all this stuff in your head and you can't get past it, it takes you down, and you end up taking yourself down because of it. So I'm very much into what I put out in the universe, I get back, and I'm going to focus on that and not let something get in my way this time.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit yesterday, I practice a modality called Access Consciousness. And one of the elements in there that I'd like to share with you is there's 5 things that you avoid. One of them is the question why, actually. And they consider it an access to be a looping question. Like you put out to the universe why, and then you get another experience of the why. And as a mindset tool to shift from that space, instead ask like, what else is possible here? Or what energy could I be to have a different possibility around X, Y, or Z showing up in your life? And it's a way to just totally start to shift the energy. And the other ones I'll give you real quick. The word need, because as an infinite being, is there anything you really need? The word but, because linguistically it negates everything you said before that. Like, you have a wonderful, that dress looks great on you, but does the dress really look great on the person? And then the word try. Because it's like Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. If you hear someone say, I'll try to come to your party, they're basically saying, I'm not coming to your party. And so it's like this awareness energy. And then the other one is want, because the energy of the word want, all the old definitions were all lack. There's been lifetimes and lifetimes of the word want meaning lack. So if you say, I want money, it's actually saying, I lack money. But we use it interchangeably with desire. Yeah.
I've been taught never use negatives. So it's I don't want this in my life. You say it, I want, or not want, I am this. Not, I don't want to be this, or that's not a part. You never use a negative. You always put out to the world in the positive and in the present, and feel it. If you're manifesting the life that you want, the person that you want to be, you put it out to the universe positively and present. Always, I am enough. I deserve this. I'm I'm going to be a coach, and never the word try, because try means what? You're giving yourself an excuse to fall back on later. Well, I said I would try, and that's our justification, our reason, our story. Well, I did try, but this happened and it got in my way. And we're all good for that, right?
Absolutely.
I was certainly good at that, and justifying, well, this is why I did this, or this is why I did that. It's the thing that we fall into the most. We want to justify our failures. I did this, but I tried to do this, but.
Yeah, the but is always, I want to take that class, but I don't have the money for it. You're already justifying, and no one can argue with that then, right? And,
that's right.
And you'll find as we get to know each other more too, that I am an acronym nerd. And so for when you say the negative thing, I have the acronym, seeing anything as negative is the only true Satan.
I like that one. You'll have to send that one to me so I can put it on my wall.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. And just a reminder for everybody watching, because I see we have quite a few people tuning in. If you have questions, if you have something going on in your world and you want us to speak around that, I'd love for these streams to be interactive. So feel free to make a comment or to ask a question, and we can go down any rabbit hole that you'd like.
I welcome the rabbit holes. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm absolutely terrified inside, but I'm loving it. So bring on the rabbit holes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, where do I want to go with the question next, or what question next? Well, I know that you're now you're going through the process now of getting a lot more tools under your belt for the coaching part with the NLP from Tony Robbins and that type of thing. How do you see that really going in league with actually working for someone as a physical and a nutrition coach? Like, how much is that mental part going to be playing a role?
Well, I got into this because it's what I knew, and I knew it was a home business that I could do because I can't work outside of my home right now. But as the last year or so, year and a half, I've been putting together pieces as to, I know I'm here to help people. That's what I was put on the earth for, and that's what I wholeheartedly believe. It was a matter of finding the right direction. So the health and fitness is great because I am a product of the product. Everything that I have access to help others with, everything that I use is there for them. So I can say, hey, this is what I used and this is why it worked. The thing is I focus a little more with my people on mindset and the stuff that I learned from my inspirations, not just what I'm normal coach through Beachbody does. This has more to do with me than I ever thought. So the more I've been involved in this, the more I've come to realize that coaching, whole life transformation coaching, is where I want to be. Yes, that includes health and fitness, but there's a far bigger scale that I want to work on with people. Like I said, it all clicks together like a puzzle. It all fits together. You want to lose weight, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your habits before you can start, or as you're losing weight and using these tools. You have to have them. They're hand in hand, because changing those habits means that your weight loss will be lifelong, because you've changed your habits completely. So long as you keep to your habits, everything that you work for, you can maintain or you can build on. Without that, it's not the same. And a lot of people go back to bad habits because they're not ingrained, or the bad habits they already had are still there because they haven't worked out them out of the process, right? So yes, I'm doing the health and fitness, but I will be going over more to the whole life and focusing on mindset and changing everything in a person's life, because it all goes together: relationships, wealth, business, finances, and your health. It all works in together. So if you want a great life and you want to be successful, you have to put all those pieces together at the same time. So that's kind of my focus, is moving towards whole life coaching and keeping the health and fitness as part of that.
And I'm curious, like when you're working with somebody and they are in a relationship, a lot of times some of the things that show up in our life and the habits that we develop are coping mechanisms for things going on in our lives. So when you have someone that's coming to you that they're also in a relationship that might not be the healthiest, do you approach that work differently at all to kind of take the household into consideration, or you just focus on the person, or what would be your go-to? What would you do in that situation?
I haven't had it happen in terms of a stranger, but one of my first, we'll call it projects, when I started realizing how much I wanted to be a coach, it was a friend of mine who came to me and said, hey, I want to lose some weight. And I had noticed, based on her behavior, a bunch of things that pointed to her relationship not being healthy. So when I talked to her, I said, we can do this. Like I said earlier, I can help you lose weight, and we can work out together, and we can do this. But there's so many other things that you need to change, because her boyfriend was extremely controlling. She had to watch her phone. She had to answer every call. There was accusations, and it was just not a healthy situation. And you could see it in her on a regular basis, sneaking up to my apartment because she wasn't allowed up here. And I saw it as a cry for help. Okay, so I will help you do this, this, and this. And I set it up. Okay, we're going to start reading a little more. She didn't read a lot. We're going to start doing this. And I gave her a personal development book. And I set out, these are the pages you're going to read every day. And I said, oh, okay, this is a jug for your water. And here's your water. So you're going to start drinking water every day. We're going to work out. And I gave her a bunch of little exercises, not full-blown workouts that I have the access to, but just little moves. So I would text her and say, okay, 10 of these. Okay, 10 of these. Just anything. Drop everything that you're doing and do 10 of these, just to kind of work with her. But the main thing was I started working with her on her confidence and saying, okay, do you like this? Do you like the way he treats you? Do you feel this is love? And started working. Many people don't put it together. Even I didn't for years. I didn't feel like I was enough. And it was my downfall. I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel like I deserved any better than what I was getting. And I did talk to you about some of the other things that happened in my life where I didn't think I deserved any better than being beaten up for, nothing. And we get into these relationships with people. So I recognized it, and I just kind of started asking her questions. Do you feel like you deserve this? Do you like it when he treats you like this? Within a couple of weeks, he was gone.
Huh.
Absolutely gone. So my goal at the time was to get rid of him. But if you tell somebody in that situation, and a lot of people said, well, you just get rid of him, just walk away. When you're in that situation, you can't just walk away. And a lot of people that have never been there don't understand that. Your mentality, your mindset, it changes and it envelops your environment. You adapt to that environment. And then you don't see a way out. It's a completely different thought process. But if you tell somebody, get out, they're not going to. But if you show them why they need to get out, why it's not healthy, what it's doing to them on so many levels, their need to get out comes out naturally, like it did with her. And after, like I said, a few weeks, he was gone. Now, she did go through what we all go through when we break up with somebody, that, okay, did I do the right thing, and being upset and feeling lonely and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he's gone, and she's moved on to better. So
it reminds me a bit of when I got sober. At first I was sober maybe a month or so, but in my mind I thought I was just having an alcohol abuse issue and I could go back to normal drinking. And it was through somebody asking me a series of questions, and I didn't even know what was happening to me. After, okay, based on your experience, what about this? Based on your experience, what about this? And then the kicker question: so based on your experience, are you an alcoholic? Then I was like, shit. But it was proposed in a way where I came to my own awareness. But up until that point, if someone said, you need to stop drinking, it would just be this. It would be that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But asking these questions created the space for me to step into a different possibility. And I'm just seeing a parallel with how you worked with her and my own experience with my demon, which is mainly addiction. And what would you say to people who they have people like us in their lives, or like your friend, or like how I was in their life? What do you do if you don't have the training and you can't afford to send someone? What tool might you have to inspire people to start doing a little bit of this work on their own?
Technically, realistically, I am self-trained in many, many things, including the things that I'm talking about. It's all drawn from my own experiences. I am great for not seeing red flags when it comes to my own life, which has shown up in the past. But I'm great for seeing red flags in other people's, even in just the slightest little comment about, he did this. And I'll catch it. Wait a minute. He did what? No. That doesn't work for me. I can catch it for other people, but in the past, I couldn't catch it for myself. I'm very self-aware in many, many things. And yet, for some reason, that part eluded me. And that was my mindset and my self-confidence and my self-esteem, and not believing that I was enough, that I deserved better, that I deserved to be treated like I treat others. So when it comes to having somebody in your own life, draw on your own experiences, ask questions, don't demand, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Never say, do this, get rid of them, because 9 times out of 10, when we're told to do something, we do the opposite and take pictures. At least I do. Go ahead, tell me I can't do something. I'll do it twice and take pictures. Like live videos or something like this. But be understanding. One of the biggest things I had was those people that said, well, you should have just left. You're stupid for not leaving. Well, I get it. It wasn't fully a choice to stay. I didn't think I deserved any better. I thought I could help. And one of the things for my own personal is I always think I can help everyone. The men in my life. They need to get from here to here, and I can help do that. But when you're in that situation, you can't help do that. It's an outsider usually that can help more than anything. Having somebody outside your relationship say, hey, what about this? Or how do you feel about the way you treat that person? Or do you really think that was necessary? It's little probing questions that kind of make them think about their behavior on either side, which is what worked with her. Do you like, and I'm blunt and I'm brutal in a lot of senses, because it was like she was a dog in a cage. And I said, do you like being a dog in a cage? Because she never left her apartment. She was never allowed. Do you like being a dog in a cage? And she, well, no. Do you like how he treats you? Well, no. Do you think this is love? Does this equate to love for you? Well, no. Because questions make us think more internally about how we think about things. So it's all surface stuff, but ask somebody a question that makes them dig deeper, and they have to try and be honest with themselves. And I say try there because they don't always want to, and in a lot of situations they fight it, right? I fought it for years. I knew what was going on, but surface thoughts, I could keep, digging down deeper. That's when I really got into the mindset and, hey, wait a minute. This is why I'm doing this. It needs to stop, and it needs to go away.
Yeah, and this is an extreme situation with domestic violence, but this same recipe could be put into any situation, asking the questions, is this what you want your life to be like? Is this what you like to have show up? Is what you're experiencing something loving and supportive and a contribution to you? And so that same questioning could be used for anything. It doesn't have to be like my situation with the addiction or the domestic abuse situation. It could be applied to the little mountains of our life, or the little molehills, and not just the mountains.
Absolutely. Well, see, even when I was in we'll call them half decent relationship, basically, I'm a certain way. This is me. You're getting to meet me. And I'm very boisterous, very blunt, very out there. And I have an opinion, and it goes out there. And people would fall in love with that. Men would fall in love with that. And then when I'd get with them, all of a sudden, because that was coming out of them, rather than just out in the world, oh, wait, don't like this about you. I don't like this. And I would start burying So all my hopes and my goals and my dreams, all the fire that's inside of me and the things that I'm passionate about, I would start burying to the point where I wouldn't recognize who I am anymore. And it's a slow process, just little things, little molehills. And then you realize, you know what? I'm not the person, I'm not me. So
Yeah.
why did I get into this? And then that whole relationship either has to be fixed and you have to fix yourself and come back out to be yourself, or it has to be ended. And it's the same way with your addictions and all of that stuff. Those little molehills usually create bigger problems.
I got another book for you in Access Consciousness. There's a book by Gary Douglas called Divorceless Relationships. And the book is all about how you divorce yourself in order to fit into what you're projecting a relationship should be, could be, ought to be. I'll put a link in the comments for it. But
Thank you.
I just recently started diving in. Like I've gone through the book once. Usually when I get one of these books, I end up going through it at least 10 times. And like the things of even how the people that show up in your relationships, how it could be a reflection of you wanting to understand something from childhood, because in order to understand something, you have to put yourself underneath that energy, and the universe will deliver to you somebody with a similar energy so you can experience and understand why something happened a certain way.
Absolutely.
All kinds of things that are just like mind-blowing. Like, where would this book should be like required reading in high school before you start getting out to the real world, you know?
High school.
High school, yeah. But I'll grab the link here in a moment and post it. But that's Divorceless Relationships. Now, you mentioned Tony Robbins a little bit earlier. Were there any really, like for me, the thing that planted the seeds for me to really get better once I was ready was the books by Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. I read that back in 1997. I got sober in 05. Or was it 06? One of the two. It's been a long time. They all kind of blend together. But that planted the seeds for me. Were there any books or things specifically that really planted the seeds, so as you really started to step into this mindset space, that you really were able to thrive? Or what would you recommend now for somebody to start planting seeds if they don't know where to start?
I am a big researcher. I am a big reader. So my book list is about probably 300 or more right now. And that's just been the ones that I put together over the last, let's say, month. I have recently read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I am in a bunch of his courses. I absolutely love his, the way that he comes across. I resonate very well with his message and his mindset tools. Peter Sage wrote a book called The Inside Track, which is phenomenal on, you were talking earlier about how you look at things. So he's gotten into my head now. So when something bad happens or negative happens, I ask myself, what's good about this? So I really get mad at the fact that COVID's here and all this stuff is going on and I can't go out to work because of my health issues and I can't do this and I'm fighting with the government right now and all these things. But what's good about it? Well, what's good about COVID is it's given me the chance that I could never have taken if I'd gone back to work. I would have been so self-absorbed in my job and everything else. I wouldn't have had the time to explore where I want to go, what I want to do. This has given me the chance, and I do. I work 16 to 18 hours a day on my health and fitness business and on my personal development and building my coaching company. I put a lot of time in because it's important to me. And I want to learn as much as I can so I can bring as much as I can to the people that are going to be my clients, right? So he has this way. What's good about this? And everything that could be negative, or my head goes off on a tailspin about something like this, what's good about this? And it changes the way you look at things. And give yourself 5 reasons why something is good rather than negative. And it will. It changes almost instantly. Once you come up with those 5 reasons why it's good instead of bad, it changes everything mentally. And you're so much better prepared to deal with it than if, COVID and I'm stuck inside and I can't go out and I can't see my friends and I can't see my family and I can't do this. Stop looking at it like that. Find the reason that it's benefiting you. Because there is a reason that, you're breathing today, you're up, you're doing this, you're doing that. I can't go do this, but I can go out for a 5K walk every day and enjoy that time outside. I'm not around anybody, but I can do that. And I can share pictures and I can, find new ways to communicate with my family. Right? Mm-hmm. So the inside track is huge. He went to He went to prison for something that he shouldn't have probably gone to prison for. And he actually looked at it as, hey, you know what? I'm here for a reason. I can make some massive changes to this. It's one of the worst prisons in the UK. There's some horrifying stories in it. But if you look at things in a positive light rather than negative, that's the whole point of that story or that book. I'm also reading Your Epic Life Blueprint by Rock Thomas right now. And my desk is full of books. I have on Audible, I Am Enough. I have about 10 to 15 books on the go at any given time. I finished one and I put it away and I go back to it a week later and reread it again. I highlight, I make notes, I have pages and pages of whatever resonates with me on a whole body mind level. There's a lot of stuff that I don't resonate with. Hal Elrod does the Miracle Morning, and there's a couple different versions. I went with the millionaire version, millionaire morning mindset, because I have a goal. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but my goal, I want to make my first million by March 2023. Coming from where I'm at right now, most people would say it's impossible. Me? No, I'm going to do it. Haven't figured out how yet, other than I know I want to do this, this, and this.
Everybody take notes and tabs. This is from the person that defied all odds, getting out of bed, walking again, talking again. So she's the one you want to emulate the behavior of.
No, don't emulate. Just take what you need. And if you don't agree with something, throw that away. But take what you need in order to keep going and find other things to add to that. Change your mindset. And when you change your mindset, you change your life. And that's the first thing that popped into my head, the first thing that connected and resonated. And I started saying it all the time. And my girlfriend started picking it up and actually started quoting one of my personal development inspirations on a regular basis. My girlfriend, Jen, says this: change your mindset, change your life. Right? Yep. That's what it comes down to.
In Access, we say point of view creates your reality. You change your point of view, change your mindset, and it starts to create a spiral. And if you have a positive mindset, you're going to have an upward spiral. And if you have a negative mindset, it's going to go the other way. So really, what else is possible with whatever you'd like to have show up in your life? And we have there's another little corny saying I like is the bless in the mess, like finding that, like what you did with COVID, you found the bless in the mess, and asking the question in Access, we would use it just to parallel the NLP speak, is what's right about this I'm not getting. And to take that one step further, I had a client who she had lupus, and I asked her, what do you love about your disease? And she would say, absolutely nothing. I hate my disease. And I go, no, what do you love about your disease? And it took her a while. And she came to the awareness that, wow, every time she doesn't want to do something, she'll just say, I can't, my lupus is flaring up. So she was empowering her disease where she could have just said no. And that's why a big takeaway from the Bible for me, I'm a recovering Lutheran. I practice other spiritual things now, but they had this one thing: let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything you use as a reason and justification for your choice is like empowering something outside of yourself is to the reason you made the choice instead of letting it just be yours. So it's almost like a victim energy. Even if you're the one making the choice, because there's a justification, you're lending power to something outside of yourself, and it shifts everything around what that choice could really bring to you if it didn't have any strings attached.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm so surprised this is a quiet group. There's I see people watching. They're probably just like, I don't know what to say, or they're afraid to ask a question because they know you're just going to hammer.
It's the blue hair. It's the blue hair. It scares people off. Step outside of your comfort zone and ask a question. It may seem nerve-wracking, but the minute you do it, you'll feel better because you all have questions.
And there is a space for, I didn't bring it up originally, but we had someone watching on YouTube that had a little joke when we were talking about Satan seeing anything as negative, that they love Satan, especially when they make it taste like chicken. So I wonder if they were thinking that it was seitan, like that vegan meat supplement. Because that's what I thought. I was like, I wonder if they're meaning seitan because anyway, that's a whole other topic. I'm curious, when you're talking about nutrition, me personally, because I am, I'm plant-based, I'm corrected because I do it for me, not the animals. I was so bad when I became vegan in terms of my diet choices that I think my body needed a multi-year detox. But when you're looking at nutrition and that type of thing with your clients, are you one particular mindset when it comes to diet, or does that really vary on the person and their individual needs? I know smoothies are a big part, obviously, from what you said, but in terms of dietary preferences, is there any things that you kind of weigh in on one place more than another?
As far as the superfood shake goes, when your body gets what it needs, you stop craving other things, all the sweets and the snacks. When your body gets what it needs, it doesn't need any more than your 3 meals a day or your 4 or 5 small meals a day. Nutrition for us, when we talk to our clients, is can you follow a nutrition plan 80% of the time? Because nobody is perfect. Even being a coach, I'm not perfect. I'm not in the perfect shape. I don't have all the big muscles. It's not about that. For us as independent Beachbody coaches, it's about showing others that it can be done and being a product of the product, right? So when it comes to nutrition, I believe in fast and easy, but with taste. I am a meat eater. One of the big things for my brain is protein. It was one of the things that I did my research. Protein helped heal my brain. So I eat a lot of protein. And I'm a farm girl, so kind of grew up around it. I know not everybody out there has, wants to eat meat, but for me, that was a huge thing. So I respect either side.
Right. Well, it comes back to let your choice be your choice. I'm plant-based because that's what I tuned into my body and asked my body, what do you require? And that was what was required. Hello, Oliver. My son is here sneaking candy. Buddy. I say, I'm not at my office.
Nutrition.
You want to come over and say hi? Come here. He came in to get sneak candy. This is great. So I'm not actually in my office. That's a green screen. So I'm in my sunroom, and he just came out to raid the candy jar here. Hi, Max. It's okay. My other son just got home from school. So yeah, I have like this great view of my backyard actually. So it's very naturesque. But what I found is that I started tuning in and really letting the body and the being become congruent. What's going to create more for my body, and that's what what changed my diet. Versus I'm doing it for this reason. Again, all things external, like you asking the question, what's going to create more? In your case, protein for my brain or whatnot. Like really letting everybody have that choice. But then also the question is like what works and what doesn't work. So if you are going to have like an animal choice, like what of the choices do you have that would be the lightest? Because there's definitely treatment of animals and all those things. Those are all separate things. Once you made your choice, then what's the lightest of the realm of what you can choose?
Yeah, I try not to get into the great debate about eating meat. Each their own. But when it comes down to letting your body tell you what it needs, absolutely. Like I said, for me, I knew to heal my brain, my brain needed protein. I am a huge veggie eater. I don't know direct correlations or whatever for organic versus non-organic food, but I do know that the chemicals that are on our food to treat them when they're not organic are not good for my brain. So when I originally, and I don't have access to do that right now, I went organic. I started growing my own. Most of the things I do, they're very quick and easy. I buy beef stir fry strips and I do that, and I do seasonings because you can make anything taste amazing with seasonings, and there's no real calories in most seasonings. So I use those. I don't use a lot of salt because I don't believe in cooking with salt. A lot of people do it for flavor. I add salt to very little in terms of what I cook. I will do my stir fry with onions and mushrooms and whatever else and add it to a salad. Great tasting, light meal. If I want a heavy, and I did grow up on a farm. I did grow up with a mom that cooked for an army. I learned how to cook for an army. So when I want to cook, I will do mashed potatoes and fried chicken, and nothing stops me. Everything in moderation. So I also bake a lot. I used to post a ton of stuff when I was baking. I do my own bread, pizza dough, pasta, you name it. I make it all. And people were like, if I had, if I was even near your house, I'd be 1,000 pounds because of all the stuff I bake. And you must not eat it. No, I eat everything I make. If I'm making cinnamon rolls, I'm mowing down on cinnamon rolls. Do I watch myself in other ways? Sometimes. Do I want to go for my walk that day? Absolutely. Absolutely want to go for my 5K walk or 10K, depending on how many I've shoved in my face that day. Do I feel guilty when I eat those things? No, because I know, hey, everything in moderation. I'm having this today, but I'm not going to do it every day. I'm not going to repeatedly just shove stuff in my face without thinking about it. I'm going to watch other things. So when I eat. Today I'm having, 2 meals in my shake, because usually I have my shake for breakfast. And then I have a light lunch and a heavy dinner, or a heavy lunch and a light dinner. And I might have a snack, especially if I make cake or something. But I don't think about it if I don't have this. If you tell yourself you can't have this, and my husband and I were talking about this earlier, I choose not to drink pop. Pop is my downfall. I drink Diet Pepsi. There's a number of reasons I do it, but it has become an addiction. So I said, I'm not drinking pop anymore. I want this instead. No more pop. This is healthier for me. And he was laughing at me today. You're not allowed to drink pop. No, don't tell me I'm not allowed to do something. I'm choosing. That's right. Because when we tell ourselves we can't do something or we can't have something, automatically our brain says we want it, right? So instead of saying, I can't have, or I'm not allowed to have, choose differently with your words. I'm choosing not to have pop anymore. I'm choosing to limit the amount of sweets I have. I'm choosing to eat more vegetables. I'm choosing to eat less with my meals, because one of our big things is portion control. Portion control is a great way to eat what you want, almost, and not feel guilty, because you're measuring it out and you're getting the right amounts for what you need. And that is, we have 2 different nutrition options or plan options. So one of them is the portion control, or you can use portion control for both. It's just a matter of doing everything without going overboard and not saying, I can't do this. I'm not allowed to have this, because right. That automatically your brain goes, hey, wait, now I want that.
Right.
And but saying, I choose.
And if you're cutting something out like that, you're taking it completely off the table, where what if your awareness is, like I use the example that if tomorrow my body said, yo, I need a steak, I would question it, but I would honor it.
Exactly. Really, and your body does tell you what it needs.
And I get crazy cravings too, like pineapple and pistachios. I can't get enough of it. I give these examples oftentimes, but the thing is, it's like the one question is really, what is going to create more for me, my body being and beyond? And if you can really be in communion with your body, sometimes the answer might surprise you. Like I never thought I would be a vegan. I was like a meat potato type person, but I also know that's what's true now. That might not be my awareness tomorrow, but being open for the awareness to change is huge.
Well, a lot of people close themselves off or give themselves that label without having an open mind that, hey, your body might need something different. My kids decided they were going vegan or vegetarian at one point, and I had to change everything to suit them. And I would buy vegetarian food. They wouldn't eat it. Well, lo and behold, one of them was sneaking pepperoni off pizza. They were young teenagers, and they wanted to be vegetarian. But I mean, your body asks for things, and that's what she said. My body just craved it. But the more you tell your body it can't have something, I'm vegetarian or I'm vegan for these reasons. Your why is important mentally. It's the same with anything. I'm going to quit drinking. Why? What is your why? I'm going to quit eating this kind of food. Why? I'm going to quit smoking. Why? I'm going to quit doing drugs. Why? Your why has to matter. But on top of that, saying, I can't have this or I'm not allowed to have this triggers other things in your brain that you need to change. So your mindset has to be, I choose to do this. I choose to quit smoking. I choose to quit doing drugs. But why? Because your why is the thing that's going to get you to the finish line with the goal that you want.
Excellent.
Right?
Yep. And the final the couple minutes that we have left, I'm curious, is there anything that you were hoping would come up today that hasn't come up that you would really want to leave people with as an inspiration to really give them an inspiration to really start moving forward and changing things in their life to create more possibility?
When it comes to, I was talking to somebody about, I'm in the works of writing a book right now. And she had said, people don't want to read. They don't have time. They don't have to. time is an excuse. If you want something bad enough, you'll put the time into it. So when it comes to changing your life, you have to put the time into it. I put a lot of time into it because it means something to me, and everything I do right now, I will use. Find the time to add personal development. It used to be a huge thing when I was younger. I'm going to say it here and now. Find the time to read. Find the time to listen to it on Audible or read it on Kindle or I'm a big fan of books. I love them. I love the smell of a fresh, book. And having 100 pages to go through and having quick answers, nothing in life is quick. I don't believe in fads. I don't believe in magic pills. I believe if you want to lose weight, for example, you have to put the time and effort and the energy into it. And you will get out of it what you put into it. Same with business. You get out of it what you put into it. Everything in life, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you want to change your life, find the recommendations online. Find me on Facebook. Ask me, what can I read to do this? This is what my goal is. Who do you recommend? I have so many recommendations for different kinds of books, different ways that different authors will resonate, easier books to read, harder books that make you go a little deeper. Different authors give you different things. So if you want recommendations for books to change your life or courses, because I'm involved in a ton of courses, masterminds, masterclasses, you name it, by all means, contact me and I will recommend people for you to go to and start learning from to change your mindset, because mindset is everything. Without changing my mindset, I would still be almost 350 pounds. I would still be a size 22 and I would still be in my bed wallowing and feeling sorry for myself for never being able to accomplish my dreams or move forward in my life.
Reminds me of my mantra. Self-pity and gratitude cannot coexist.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For those of you just listening on the podcast, you can reach her on Instagram at ultimateglam101, on Facebook at Shark Lover, but it's spelled SHARKLUVR, and then via email at jenniferbishop@gmail.com. And it's not how you think it would be spelled. It's Jennifer and then Bishop, or Jennifer J.
Bishop. Yeah.
So I did type it right, but Jennifer J. and then Bishop is BISSCHOP, but it's pronounced like the chess piece. So I got the pronunciation up, but the spelling I would never have gotten right had you not said it to me.
Shark Lover is my nickname. It was one of my big things that I did in the last year. I got my nickname that I've had for 20 years tattooed. I love sharks. I have since I was 3. It is my dream. One of the things that got me out of bed. I thought that I would never get to swim with sharks, and I've wanted to do it since I was 3 years old. Mom, I want a PhD in sharks. And it's been my biggest goal my entire life, and I haven't been able to do it yet. And I have a plan to do so in the very near future. But that was one of the things that got me out of bed, not being able to have that. So Shark Lover is my nickname. And it's kind of my account. I've had it for a long time. So it's definitely me.
Awesome. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Please take a moment to share this video with someone that would be inspired to have a mindset. If you need a coach, you can tell she's going to whoop you into shape. So you can definitely reach out, and she could definitely be an inspiration and motivation for you to choose more consciousness and more change in the world. But until next time, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being on with me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me.
This is the first of many.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today for the show. The Sonic Shaman is part of the Emergence of Being Contributor Network. Visit emergenceofbeing.com to learn about all the contributors and learn about our services and upcoming events. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. You can contribute to the show by supporting our efforts and sharing our content with those you care about and those who need it most.